This show was created to educate and inspire our viewers to become better versions of themselves.
All right, you know what time it is? It's time for the Power Hour, and my next guest is a gentleman with an amazing story, and he's here to tell his story. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kerry Knight. Kerry, how are you?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Where are you located, Kerry?
I am in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, so just south of Nashville.
Now, you actually have an amazing story, and tell us about that.
Yeah. So it started. I'm just a little backstory. I've married my wife a little over 17 years ago. We had 5 children. Started late in life. I'm a little older, but we had 5 children. I have 2 boys and 3 girls.
Mhm.
They are the boys are 8 and 12, and the girls are 14, 15, and 16.
Right.
So in about November or October of 2022, uh, my wife was having some back pain. Went to a chiropractor. He looked at her and said, you've got a cracked vertebrae. Have you been in an accident? Have you been in fallen or anything?" She said no. So
Wow.
went to the doctor, found out she had stage 4 breast cancer that had spread to her bones.
Whoa.
Yeah. So went into a lot of quick research, and she had decided not to do chemo, not to do radiation. Wanted to stay natural approach to it, but we were strong in our faith, or thought we were strong in our faith at the time, but realized how much stronger we could get.
Right.
So we started down that journey. She was, we went down to Mexico to seek some treatment, some alternative treatment. The oncologist kind of gave us a death sentence kind of thing. So we just started down that journey. We started, we were, in a sense, strong in our faith. So we're leaning a lot on the Lord.
Right.
And what was amazing about it was His presence during the whole time, His provision, the peace that we had throughout the entire journey.
Yeah.
So we were doing a lot of believing and praying for her healing. And about February of 2023, I quit my job and became a primary caretaker for her.
Right. Now, let me ask you this real quick. What made you guys say, you know what, I'm not going to do conventional medicine. We're just going to do this on our own?
Yeah, so we have been down the path for a long time of healthy, trying to eat healthy, trying to eat
Right.
natural, trying to do very little medicine. We
Right.
do it when we need to, go to the doctors when we need to. We're not,
Right.
but we try to eat right, live healthy, take natural solutions first. And she had already done quite a bit of research and knew the negative side of, it works for a lot of people, but a lot of people it doesn't, the chemo and radiation.
Right.
And she didn't want to do that to her body, and wanted to walk down the natural path. So.
Right. And what was the steps she took after that? What was her diet like after that?
Yeah. So the protocol was, so it was all because of how progressed she was. It was pretty extreme. So it was all, fruits, vegetables. We had to get rid of all chemicals in the household. We had filtered water. We did filtered, took out anything with odor, aroma. Everything was just plain natural. The food was cooked very well. It was a lot of juicing. 8 juices a day that she would, along with 3 meals. And the meals were just very well cooked vegetables. The idea was to have her body do as little, have it focus its work on healing rather than digesting food.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and the road to recovery, how long was it taking? I mean, when did you start noticing progress and say, okay, you know what? I see this is getting better. And what was that like?
Yeah. So, well, and so we started, she started in December, I guess, when we got back from Mexico. Started seeing great progress while we were in Mexico, and it kind of jump started the protocol. But then she had nausea come in and was unable to eat, and was unable to. She wasn't able to follow the diet. She wasn't even able to eat. So we ended up going to the hospital, spent some time there, spent a couple times, actually a couple of trips to the hospital at different times. But it somewhere around April, we started to realize that her healing was not going to be here on earth. And it was going to be in heaven. The battle, the presence of the peace that we had through the whole process was amazing. Like I said, the Lord was present the whole time. At one point in the hospital, I had gone in, went out in the lobby just crying and praying, and said, Lord, if you take her early, I'll understand. I mean, I won't understand. I'll love you. I'll follow you. I will never stop. But boy, when I get to heaven, I sure will need to know why she had to come early. And he kind of let that sit for a while. And then a couple of weeks later, he kind of put it on my heart. He said, when you get here, I'll be glad to tell you, but when you're in my presence and you're here with her and her in my presence, it won't even matter. Right. It won't matter.
Yeah. Nothing will matter.
And no,
at that point. Yeah.
And, and so, but the time that we spent, so from February till May, she went on to be with Jesus in May. And from February till May, I spent no more, I figured about 20 hours a day. I was no more than 6 feet away from her.
Wow.
And I just spent that time taking care of her. It was a absolutely great time. We got so close to each other. We got so close to the Lord. There was tough times, right? It was, she was some late nights. There were some nights I just wouldn't turn the lights out. I wasn't going to let darkness in that room for anything. In her pain and in her, but it became a truly, the journey was, the kids were all a part of it the whole time, and never hid anything from them, kept them involved. We homeschool them. So that's another,
is there a part of you somewhere deep down inside, where you think maybe I should have went the conventional medicine route?
No, not at all. There's not a single doubt, because we had peace about the decision the whole time, and never, that was her heart all along, was to never do that. And no, I don't, honored her wishes, I guess, is what we did.
And also, I do understand, because when it's God's will, it's God's will. Yeah. And had she done conventional medicine, she probably would have suffered, you know what I mean, worse, or whatever the case is. So, so where are you today? How are you doing today?
Yeah. So that's the beauty of the whole story. So when, 2023, the enemy, I don't even call it, I call him a punk, because devil, enemy, well, that's like,
right.
that all almost indicates respect. So
right.
is not. So I call him the punk. So the punk thought he'd try to wreck my world and wreck my kids' world. And you know, I look back on 2023 and say it was the best year of my life.
Right.
My wife, their mom is with Jesus, right? That's her ultimate goal. I couldn't, to fix our pain in the flesh, we would have to ask her to come back.
Right.
And
And I'm pretty sure she wouldn't at
no,
all.
no, she'd be up there saying, "What are you nuts? I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not
there's
leaving
no way."
Jesus and coming back down to that dirt ball and suffering some more. I'm staying
Yeah.
here. You'll be up here soon enough. Don't worry."
That's right.
And you know, so she's with Jesus. In the flesh, it stings, but in the spirit, boy, she won. You know, she's healed,
Yeah.
she's whole, she's got her healing, she's, you know, and then the intimacy that my children and I have gained with our faith in this last year is we wouldn't give it up for the world. I mean, we wouldn't change it. Our walk with Him is so much stronger, we have so much peace, and you know, we have. In the flesh, we get days where we miss her and moments
yeah.
where we miss her, and it's
Yeah.
hard. But then we just turn and rejoice because we know where she is. And we know we'll all be together again someday soon. You know, someday, 100 years from now, we'll all be sitting there together with Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, so he meant for it to wreck our world. And it did nothing but draw us closer and really give us the best year of our life. And
Right.
and he's working on us as a family in so many different ways. And, you know, it's just it's been what I like to say, it's been a beautiful, horrible experience. And I've been a peaceful wreck.
Right.
And the beautiful is 100% him. And the wreck is, you know, the horrible is obvious. And the peaceful is again him. And the wreck is, I wasn't meant to do this by myself.
Right.
Homeschooling 5 kids, and you know, it's just
But look at you, man. You're in it. You're doing it, and you know we can do anything in this world we want, and you're living proof of that.
amen.
So my hat's off to you. I commend you, and I do apologize for your loss. I too recently lost a sister battling cancer, so I know what you're going through, but like I said, you're all right. You know, everything is all right.
Yeah.
Have you and your kids done any family trips lately? Anything
So yeah,
special?
so we've done a lot. So we spent this summer, you know, she passed, she went to be with Jesus in May, and we spent the summer taking trips. You know, I took the summer off work to try to figure out what we're going to do, what new life was going to look like, and we did all her favorite stuff.
Wow.
And you know, it's kind of, here's the piece that they had with it. When we get in a car, every time when we get in a car, I do a roll call. I'd say,
Right.
Mary Grace, yes, sir. You buckled in? Yes, sir. And I'd go through each one of them. Right. I wasn't really worried about the buckled in. I just making sure I didn't forget somebody.
Right.
The buckled in was just a bonus.
Yeah.
And it always end up with Mama. And she'd say, yes, sir. You buckled in? Yes, sir. Well, since you went on to be with Jesus, first time we got in the car, I just ran through the whole lineup and I said, Mama. And all 5 of them in an angelic voice, yes, sir. You buckled in? Yes, sir. So we still check Mama's seatbelt when we buckle in. And but yeah, so we've gone. Her favorite places are the beach. And it's been several years since we've been to the beach. So we went to the beach. We cremated her and took a little bit with her her with us everywhere we went. And that was kind of you know, we know it's not her, but it was just kind of ceremonial for the kids. But and then we went to Orlando. She loves roller coasters, so we went to Orlando, rode roller coasters, and so yeah, it's been a year. And we did that same thing on our anniversary and on her birthday. We went back to Orlando and just did stuff that she would want to have been doing.
Right.
And celebrate it instead of mourn, you know, and instead of being sad or down about it. And we just honored her, glorified the Lord, and honored her and everything that we do. So,
Wow, man, that's an amazing story, and my my blessings and my prayers are with you and your family.
Well, thank you.
Uh, what do you want someone else to know who may be dealing with a loved one battling cancer? What do you want them to know?
Yeah. So there is like I said, the biggest thing that I would want anyone to know is the true peace is in Jesus Christ. I mean, that is um, that, like I said, this was a beautiful, horrible experience. And the beautiful was his presence through the entire process, through every last minute of it. His presence was there. And um, I don't know. It breaks my heart to think of anybody, because everybody's got their version of tragedy.
Right, right,
Everyone's got. I'm not unique. They're not. Everyone's got their version of it. And to think of anybody walking through it without the Lord breaks my heart. Not to mention their eternal ramifications, but to walk through life right now without and your version or their version of tragedy or trauma, and without having that peace and that support and that love surrounding you at all times, knowing you can handle anything with him.
it'll be
it-
rough. The healing process will be long and hard.
yes,
You know?
yes, because and in the flesh, it's a dark place, right?
is.
When I sit there and let myself miss her, it's a dark place.
It is.
And
You
I
don't
gotta
want, yeah, you don't want to get caught down there. You don't want to stay there.
no,
So you have to go to the Lord mentally, spiritually.
yes.
You have to. If not, like you said, you'll be in a bad place.
Absolutely. You stay there long, it gets dark quick, and you got to pull yourself out and walk in the spirit, and that's because that's such a beautiful place.
It
And
is.
and
It is.
again, she's right there with them, and the rest of us rest of the family will be up there in our time, and we'll all be together. But it's been, I just can't imagine somebody going through their version of this without that peace and that love, because it is tremendous, and it's made us stronger, right? The
Right.
punk lost. I
Yeah,
read the back of the book. He's going to lose in my story too.
that's right. That's right. So, is there a book in the works? I mean,
Um,
you have an amazing story, and like I tell everybody, everyone in life has a story to tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We walk around here and we experience life,
Yeah.
and some are worse than others, but we all have a story. I think yours would be amazing in a book.
Well, and
You-
I've started I was posting on Facebook, I think,
Right.
just to keep family updated. And then I
Right.
started and then once she went on to be with Jesus, I was posting more often, just sharing, just being vulnerable and talking about Lord's presence in my life. And I was getting a lot of feedback about it, positive. So I started a blog. I have no idea, didn't know what a blog was, never thought I'd be anyway.
Right.
Started and called it My Healed Wife, and just trying to document our journey. And
Right.
yeah, so I've had a lot of people tell me that it could be a book. I've already done most of the work. I just got to put it together.
I mean, the fact that you guys went down to Mexico to do all of this stuff, and yeah, that's amazing within itself.
Yeah.
I do thank you for joining me on the show today and sharing your story. And hey, whatever you're wanting to do in life as far as going forward, may God be with you and your family, and God bless you. Thank you for joining me on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. It was an honor and a privilege to get to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
The Power Hour is brought to you by Soul TV.